On today's primetime local news, Red Dress Day is today, honoring missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people. And around 250 people evacuated because of wildfires in northern Saskatchewan have arrived in Lloydminster. Plus, 2 new trailers were discussed in this week's entertainment panel.
Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. Thank you so much for joining us. Around 250 people evacuated from the Clearwater River Dene Nation because of wildfires in northern Saskatchewan have arrived here in Lloydminster. There is the potential for more to show up over the weekend. The city's manager of emergency management says the Meadow Lake Tribal Council is coordinating the effort with the help of the city. They expect the number of evacuees to rise to 400 over the weekend, with most of them staying in local hotels or with family or friends. At this time, there is no plans to make use of Lakeland College for housing.
If the city of Lloydminster can't handle hotels, then there are plans to grow into North Battleford. Hotels are actually one of the cheapest ways to house people, because if we do look at congregate lodging, we have to provide all services, whereas hotels are much more established to provide a lot of those essential needs that people have.
The city says donations are not needed at this time, and the Tribal Council is asking for people to give the evacuees time to get settled.
They have everything they need. It's a very busy center right now, and they're trying to get everybody registered and established into hotel rooms. So we just ask that everybody give them a little bit of space for now while they're getting things sorted out. Please don't try to arrive with some donated items or goods, just because that can exceed their capacity a little bit to look after people. If they do require anything, they'll certainly reach out. We have some community groups that have offered support as well already. So
updates will be provided over the weekend as the situation is continuing to change. Red Dress Day is today, honoring missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people. Our Callan Dunlop has more.
Red Dress Day took place today. The day started with a pipe ceremony, followed by a walk from City Hall to the Lloydminster Native Friendship Centre.
It's an event to bring awareness for murdered and missing Indigenous women, children, and girls and Two-Spirited people. And it brings awareness and honors what's been going on in our society for the last 40, 50 years or longer, and just brings awareness about all the unsolved cases that are still out there.
After the memorial walk, the group gathered outside the Friendship Centre for traditional drumming and dancing.
The performance I just put on is called the Sidestep, and it's a healing dance. The story goes is that this one girl was really sick and she had a dream about dancing in a jingle dress to the Sidestep, so she did that in the morning when she told her Gukam, and then she was cured a couple hours later.
Callan Dunlop, Primetime, Local News.
The weather has cooled down slightly today, and hopefully that means we'll be seeing some much-needed rainfall over the weekend and into next week. But with more, here's our Shelby Clark.
Thank you so much, Miss Abby St. John. Yes, you are correct. Much needed rainfall is very much needed for this weekend and into next week. As we look a little bit more into it, we hopefully will be seeing it either Sunday or on Monday, but we'll get into that. Right now here in the Border City, we are just sitting at 19. So we have cooled down, of course, from those scorches that we have been seeing throughout the week. But for today, we have cooled down to that 19-degree mark, so just under 20 degrees. But I would say it's very much needed. It's a nice day still, lots of sunshine, and I say it is quite beautiful outside. So make sure to get out there and enjoy it, because, you know, a little bit of coolness is very much needed, and it feels very nice today. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most spots have cooled down, just like us here in the Border City. We are on the cooler side of things. Most spots are just seeing between 20 to 22 degrees on the Alberta side. So still looking just past that 20-degree mark in most of these areas. And then we look over in Edmonton, and they are looking the warmest just at 23. So we are still seeing some nice, beautiful conditions on our Alberta side. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, side, they are looking slightly cooler compared to our Alberta side. Most spots are matching with us here in the border city at that 19-degree mark. And then we have 20 there in Green Lake, while it's now 18 up in Isle La Crosse. 23 seems to be the warmest condition here with Pearceland, and we go a bit lower, and Macklin is just sitting at 21. North Battleford will be going down to that low of that 6-degree mark for their evening low, so we will still be expecting those plus temperatures for our evening low temperatures in our surrounding areas for tonight. So they will be looking at a nice night for North Battleford. Then for their Saturday, 17. So kind of matching what they are seeing right now, seeing in those teens for their daytime high, and they will be experiencing a mixture of some sun and cloud for tomorrow during the day on their Saturday. Cold Lake will be going down to that 7-degree mark for their evening low, so seeing a beautiful night indeed tonight. They will be just seeing a clear night, nice and calm evening. And then for their Saturday, 17 as well for their daytime high, so just a few degrees off from that 20-degree mark, and they will be getting a mixture of some sun and clouds. So a beautiful Saturday is expected for Cold Lake. And then for us here in the border city, we will be seeing that 5 for our evening low temperature, and we are supposed to be getting more of a breeze later on in the evening, so that will kind of help cool things down, which will actually feel very nice. And then for our Saturday, we will be looking at 16 for our daytime high, and we will be seeing another sunny day throughout the day for our weekend as we head into our Saturday. So that will be a beautiful weekend indeed for us here in the border city. And now we end off with a look at your 3-day forecast here. We will be looking at that 16 for our Saturday, so we are going to be seeing that sunshine. Then 17, as I was saying before, we were hopefully going to be seeing some rainfall on our Sunday to end things off, but right now it is just showing that it'll be mostly just a cloudier day. But as we head into next week on Monday, we should be experiencing around a 60% chance of some precipitation. Hopefully we will be getting that rainfall. It is very much needed, so hopefully everybody's staying safe out there. And that's all I have for now. For a first look at your weather forecast.
Thanks so much, Shelby. And yes, I really hope for that rain for all of us. But after the break, we have today's business headlines. The Lloydminster Junior Rebels Swimming Club season has begun. Our Thomas Wildman has more.
Kids of all ages jumped into the water this week for the speed swimming season to start to train for provincials in August.
The Rebels Swim Club is a summer swim club, which means we can't enter the water until May 1st. And we swim, and our provincials are the third weekend in August. We have approximately 50 to 60 swimmers. It's down from pre-COVID when we had approximately 90. We have all ages of swimmers. It's ability-based, so sometimes we have little 4-year-olds that are fantastic little swimmers, and they come and start competing. Probably the oldest is now in his 50s, and he competed until about 5 years ago.
The swim club right now is getting the kids used to the water and learning about various different strokes and styles of swimming.
You have to go on your back and do like this and look up at the sky.
Our youngest group, the advanced minis, went in for the first time. We have some that's a little cautious about going in the water, but we have some fantastic coaches that actually get in the water and swim alongside the 5-year-olds, and they adjust very quickly. Typically within about 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be swimming anywhere up to 400 or 500 meters in a half-hour practice. Some of it will be with a flutterboard or with fins and flutterboard.
Thomas Wildman, Primetime Local News.
Now we're going to go back over to our Shelby Clark, who has an extended look at your evening weather forecast.
Thank you so much again there, Miss Abby St. John. Yes, now taking another extended look at your weather forecast. We'll be starting off with our central zone of the provinces. On the Alberta side, we are looking slightly cooler from what we have been seeing, past those few scorchers we had throughout the week. But, we are still looking quite nice because we have some spots that are still just sitting around that 26, 27 degree mark with Jasper and up in Whitecourt. And then for the most part, most spots are just sitting around 23 degrees. And then we have 24 there in Rocky Mountain House and 21 over in Edson. So all spots are just past that 20 20-degree mark, so still looking nice and warm for today. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side here in our central zone, they are looking a lot cooler compared to Alberta side, as they are just sitting at those teen temperatures. 17 there in Saskatoon, while it is 18, 19 for North Battleford and up in Meadow Lake, so they are just a few degrees off from that 20-degree mark. And then Prince Albert and Melfort looking slightly cooler, just sitting at 15. So it's kind of nice to see that we have cooled down just a bit as we are kind of heading into our weekend, though, because as we all know, after all the stories and all the grass fires and everything that's been happening across the provinces, it's very much well needed. So please make sure you're still enjoying yourself and staying safe. Switching over to our northern zone now, they are kind of matching with us more in our central zone as well, as they have cooled down, but then we still have some areas that are well past that 20-degree mark. 25, 26 up in Uranium City and Stony Rapids, and then we start to cool down from there. We have 19 for both La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, and then the rest are just sitting at 16, 17. Now as we go back over to our Alberta side here, it doesn't seem like here in our northern zone for our Alberta side they have cooled down whatsoever for today that we have been kind of seeing across our region and, you know, in our central area. Still seems like they are seeing another kind of scorcher for right now, especially High Level and Grand Prairie. They're just sitting at 28 degrees, so just a couple degrees off from that 30-degree mark. 26, 27 for Peace River and Slave Lake, and then we have Fort Chipewyan and Fort McMurray as they are slightly cooler, but still past 20 degrees with 23 and 25. Now as we go over to our southern zone, they seem to be matching with us more in our central area for sure on this Alberta side. Seems to be the warmest is just in Lethbridge, but 25 degrees. 23, 24 for Calgary and Medicine Hat, and then we have some that are kind of matching with us a little bit more as we hit those teens with Banff in 18 and Coronation just at 21. So looking not too bad on that Alberta side. And then we're ending things off here and looking on our Saskatchewan side in our southern zone, and they have cooled down for sure from what they have been seeing throughout the week. 18 seems to be the most popular temperature on this side. Then we have 19 up in Kindersley, and Moose Jaw is just hitting that 20-degree mark. But now as we look at some evening lows across our surrounding area on this list here, we will be seeing those plus temperatures, of course, kind of continue on for our evening low temps. A low of 7 at Bonnyville we'll be expecting tonight, a low of 6 for Provost, and the rest with Isla Cross, Paradise Hill, and Meadow Lake we'll be expecting a low of 4 to 5 degrees tonight. So, of course, we are going to be seeing those plus temperatures continue on as we kind of warm things up as we head more into the summer season for our evenings, and also it will be a pretty clear and calm night for most of these areas as well. Some are just going to be matching with us a little bit more here in the border city as they are going to be getting more of a breeze later on in the evening. And looking at our Saturday here in the border city for our hourly forecast, we will be cooling down again for our Saturday as we start off with that 5-degree mark, and then for our daytime high just hitting 16, so we won't be quite hitting that 20-degree mark just yet as we kind of seen today, and we won't be cooling down by too much tomorrow night, because then as we head into our Sunday we will be looking at that 17. So we are going to be expecting still a beautiful weekend here in the border city. It'll be nice to cool things down, of course, and hopefully we will be seeing that 60% chance of some rainfall on Monday. I'm even hoping maybe it will come later on Sunday evening because we definitely need it, but hopefully it definitely will be coming Monday, and we are going to be seeing Sunday and Monday with those gloomier conditions. But then as we head into the rest of next week on Tuesday, we will start to warm up from there as we will be hitting those 20s next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and seeing some sunnier days ahead. That's all I have for now. Our Abby St. John will have our news coming up after the break.
I am here today at Axio Physio and Health, and I'm joined here with Devesh Kumar to talk a little bit about physio before surgery. I know it's common practice to do it after surgery on knee replacements, joints, stuff like that. But there are benefits to prehab. So tell me a little bit about what those benefits are and why you would encourage people to seek it out before surgery.
So for sure, there is a lot of research supporting prehab that improves the outcomes post-surgically. So the reason those things are important is the physiotherapy is so important before surgery is you want to improve your range of motion. You want to improve your strength before you go into the surgery so that functionally when you start your rehab post-surgery, surgically, you're already in pain. So if you have a good strength and range of motion, the recovery is much faster. You feel more confident, you feel more agile, you feel more balanced on your feet. So all these things help to improve the outcomes post-surgically. Pre-surgically, the pain management part of prehab is very important. So when pre-surgically you're waiting for so long for the surgery and you have no help other than pain meds, you can improve your pain levels by using some physical therapy and improve the strength at the same time to do your daily function. So those things can really help to improve your quality of life and improve daily function.
And you mentioned that, obviously when you come out of surgery, you do have that pain still. Would you say that the pain is kind of lessened if you do prehab opposed to if you don't go through with it?
Well, there is a lot of factors for the pain post-surgically, but definitely your sensitivity to the pain, as I said, more confident you feel in doing and more you're able to move, less your pain is. So eventually once you're off the pain meds after the surgery, you want to move more, right? And if you're still hurting your strength, you're not feeling confident in it, the pain cycle keeps going. So to break that pain cycle, if you have done some prehab, that is very helpful in improving your outcomes post-surgically.
Will it also make the time after surgery when you're in physio lessen opposed to when you come out of it?
Well, there is definitely good results post-operatively in terms of strength outcome, which can help you to do less passive physio and more active physio at home. So if you have, suppose, very good strength and your mobility improves post-operatively very fast, then you don't have to get into physio every week or every other week. You can probably do few sessions and then do more active physio at home and then see your physio once in a while.
And what are some of the things that go into a physiotherapy session?
So there is a lot of things that can go into physiotherapy session depending on what you need. So typically there will be a manual therapy session in which involves lots of hands-on techniques in which we improve the joint mobility using some hands-on techniques. Then we use some dry needling that helps to release the tight muscles, and we can give you some exercises that can improve to help to improve the strength and balance. And there is a lot of modalities you can use. You can use ultrasound therapy or heat therapy or cold therapy. All of these things as a combination approach usually works better than one thing. So depending on what your plan of care you decide with your physiotherapist is usually what works best for you, and also depends on what are your goals from the physiotherapy.
Now, we were talking a little bit before we started about cortisone shots, and that is being offered here. Tell me a little bit about what that is and how people, if they're interested, can get those shots.
Sure. So I was listening from a lot of patients that there is a long waiting to get into a cortisone shot, and cortisone shot a lot of the time is as part of their recovery. It helps them to calm down their pain and in their system so that they can do their rehab. But when there is a long waiting, you can't get in, you're suffering with the pain. So when I was hearing that, I reached out to one of the doctors in town. His name is Dr. Antonio Feblis, and I asked him if he could do some private cortisone shots in my clinic so that my patients can use that and try to get their rehab sooner than later. So, and he agreed to it, so we started doing it. So it's a private injections. There is a fee for service for that. But if we can get you in within a week and start your rehab early, and that'll be, I think, a lot of game changer for a lot of people instead of waiting for like months to get the cortisone and then start the rehab.
Yes, I know firsthand how long it takes just to get in to get those cortisone shots, so it's awesome that they're being offered here. If anybody wants more information on prehab or the cortisone shots or anything about physio, where can they go to find that information?
They can definitely look at our website. It's www.xelph.com, or they can give us a call. Our front desk is super helpful. They'll give them all the information about physiotherapy and cortisone shot.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Physio is very important for people's recovery, so it's awesome that prehab is being talked more about, and so people are aware of it before they go in for surgery. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Abby, for having me over.
The grass is starting to green up and the city, it's starting to get cleaned up. It's pitch-in week and that includes the annual Household Hazardous Waste Roundup. It's going to be at the Lloyd X tomorrow between 10 and 2. So if you've got some old paint cans at your home, maybe you have old jugs of antifreeze, maybe you've got an old laptop that's just collecting dust, all that and more is going to be accepted. But to see the full list of items that you can bring, head to the city's website, lloydminster.ca. When you come out, there's also going to be a charity barbecue plus interactive games for all ages. Once again, all the details, you'll find them on the city's website, lloydminster.ca. Coming up on Thursday night, try your hand at Texas Hold'em Poker, Blackjack, Roulette, Crown and Anchor, and so much more as the Vic Juba Community Theatre hosts their Fun Money Fundraising Casino Night. Get your ticket now so that you're in for an evening of a lot of fun different games. Maybe you're going to try out the Money Tunnel. Maybe you're going to check out the horse races. There's going to be a lot of celebrities on hand as your guest dealers as well, including Vic Juba, Mayor Gerald Albers, and myself, Heather Klages. Really looking forward to this Thursday night and supporting the Vic Juba Community Theatre. For all the details and to get your tickets, go online to vicjubatheatre.ca. And if you're looking for a new favorite mug that's been handcrafted by a local artist, make sure you check out the Lloydminster Potters Guild annual Spring Fling sale. It's coming up this Sunday at the Lloydminster Museum and Archives, a chance to shop local, meet the artisans, and see some beautiful works of art. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Thank you everybody for joining us today here in studio, me and Miss Abby St. John for this week's entertainment panel, and we got a good one.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we got some good trailers that are here that we really want to help get the word out on, but doesn't really need much word because they're very popular,
Yes.
I'd say. A lot of people online talking about these. And starting off, we have Dune Part 2 trailer, and I think a lot of people are excited for it. We have not seen these the first movie,
Yeah.
so for information on that, like we're still going to be able to talk about, you know, of course, with the second trailer and whatnot. But you know, I think I definitely am going to make sure to have to get out there and watch that first one.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be good. But you know, let's take a look at the trailer and see how Part 2 looks, because it definitely is talked about.
It's breathtaking. When you see sand here, imagine water. If you dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
You dive in.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you. In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets.
Yeah, like you said, neither of us have seen the first one, so we can't really talk too much about plot. It does seem like this is a continuation, how the first one ended. It's continuing off. Someone told me who had actually watched the first one that the first one was just setting up for this next one. So it seems like there's going to be a war between kingdoms, and so expect a lot of action scenes and fight scenes in the sand, and who knows what else is in store for this movie. But it does look really, really good, on par with the first one as well. The first one having an 83% certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 90% audience rating. I have no doubt that this movie is going to either be better or around the same. Denis Villeneuve, who is the director of the movie, he does an incredible job with visual effects and just making it look really, really pretty despite it being in the desert with just sand. He does a really good job with the lighting and, you know, just the feel of the movie, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, another stacked cast. Timothée Chalamet, of course, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, Christopher Walken, Stellan Skarsgård, Javier Bardem. There is a ton of stars in this movie, and it worked out really well for them the first go around. I think it's fantastic that they're able to have such a big stacked cast and it being a, you know, worldwide success, you know?
I agree. And, you know, the cinematography, I think what a lot of people, of course, are talking about when it comes to Dune. You know, the first one, beautiful. It kind of gives like almost like a Star Wars vibe that I think a lot of people like to compare it to. Who knows? But hopefully we'll get some more and it'll be really good.
Yes.
Yeah. But it seems like it's got great cinematography. And, you know, speaking of cinematography, we got another trailer that came out. Woo! I think everybody's really excited on this one. We got the prequel for The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And if we want to talk about talked about trailers, I think this one had the most hype online. So let's take a look.
I am honored to introduce to you the creator of The Hunger Games themselves, Dean Casca Highbottom.
I have summoned you all here for the 10th annual reaping ceremony.
Yes, this I think is very nostalgic for Hunger Games fans, me being one of them. I read all 3 books when I was in junior high, and that was a very long time ago. So I love it, and it's bringing out those core fans, and then obviously fans who have watched the movies over the last few years because they've been on Netflix. I think it's garnered a whole new fan base, and there's a ton of people talking about different theories and what have you on this trailer, because we finally got a first full trailer that we actually could understand what this movie will be about. So it's following the 10th Hunger Games, which has been erased from history because of how extremely brutal it was. And so we get introduced to some of the things that we see in the actual Hunger Games. This is the first year that mentors are being used. They're not from the districts, they're not the previous victors, but they're Capital Academy students. And this is where Snow comes in. He's a student in the academy, and he's working on becoming a soldier. And so he's the mentor for District 12 for Lucy Gray Baird, which is rumored to be a relative of Katniss, but that's also just a theory.
Yeah, lots of theories, that's what I love.
Yeah,
lots of theories.
So this is also showing that we find out where the idea for the Hunger Games comes from, and it comes from Peter Dinklage's character. If you're Game of Thrones fans, you will know who he is, Tyrion. He plays Casca Highbottom, and his class was asked of different ideas for punishments for the districts, and he came up with this idea. And it's also, it seems like he kind of regrets it, so that's interesting. Viola Davis is in it, and she plays a mad scientist, basically. So she comes up with all the torture techniques, and she's the one who asks the class their ideas on what they should do to punish the districts for the uprising. So that's going to be really interesting to see. Tigress Snow is in it, and if you've seen part 2 of Mockingjay, she shows up, and she is related to President Snow. Not a super stacked cast, but they do have some notable names like Peter Dinklage and Viola Davis, Rachel Ziegler, Hunter Schafer. For all you Euphoria fans out there, you'll know who she is. And then Jason Schwartzman, who plays Lucky Flickerman, and then Tom Blythe, who plays Snow. So it's going to be a really good movie, I think. I'm very excited for it. It comes out November 17th, so we still got a long ways to go, but
it seems like we got a lot of time, so make sure for everybody out there, catch up when you can, because it's coming up soon and it's going to be a good one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but that's all the time we have for this week's entertainment panel, so thank you everybody for joining us today, and have a great weekend. Ending off with another quick look at your 7-day forecast. We will be looking at a beautiful weekend ahead. Make sure some sun and cloud tomorrow at 16. 17 on Sunday, a little bit gloomier, but we should hopefully get that rainfall as we head into next week. As we all know, we definitely need it with that 60% chance on Monday. But then after Monday, we will start to warm up once again with a lot more sunnier days ahead for 19 Tuesday, and then reaching past that 20 mark next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Thanks so much, Shelby, for that. But that's all the time we have for Primetime Local News this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your night.